Welcome everyone. So we have completed all the topics on the chapter aldehydes and ketones. So we will be now focusing on solving some MCQs on the same topic. So let's begin. So this question came in JEE Advanced 1988. Okay. So polarization of electrons in acrolein may be written as. So this is acrolein molecule. Okay. Alpha beta unsaturated aldehyde. So you can see over here that this one is alpha molecule, alpha carbon atom, and this one is the beta carbon atom. So this one is the structure of acrolein. So we know that this acrolein, okay, this carbonyl carbon is positively charged and oxygen is negatively charged. So we can draw this structure like this. That is the canonical structure. Okay. Now you can see that this positive charge is in conjugation with a pi bond. That means this pi bond over here can shift in between these two carbon atoms to stabilize this positive charge. So what we will get is the positive charge from the carbonyl carbon is just shifted to the beta carbon. Okay. So from this canonical structures we see over here, that is from the structure 2 to from structure 3, we can see that the positive charge over the carbonyl carbon is shifted to the beta carbon. Okay, see, this was the alpha carbon and this was the beta carbon. So that means the charge dispersion is occurring through four atoms. Okay, that is the polarization of the electron, that is the charge dispersion. Okay, so if you look over here in the options given, so we see that number B and number D has a charge separation across four atoms, but in number B the more electronegative atom, that is oxygen atom, has a positive charge, whereas in structure D the more electronegative oxygen atom bears a negative charge. So our answer will be number D. Okay, so this one is the answer. Now moving to the next question, among the given compounds most susceptible to nucleophilic attack at the carbonyl carbon is. This question came in 1997 JEE Advanced. Okay, so we know that in the nucleophilic attack aldehyde is more reactive than ketone. Okay, I've discussed it, why aldehyde is more reactive than ketone in the previous lecture. So we see over here in the given options, so this one is ester group. Okay, COOCH3. Okay, this one is the ester group, and I have shown you, since I have discussed something that what is the trend of reactivity. Okay, first aldehydes are more reactive than ketones, then after ketones this comes esters, after esters then come acids. Okay, so aldehydes are more reactive than ketones and ketones are more reactive than esters. And if you look over the option D, okay, so in option D we have this anhydride. Okay, in option B we have acetaldehyde. Okay, so acetaldehyde will be more reactive than these two. So now we look into the option A and B. Option A has a chlorine atom, whereas option B has hydrogen atom. So for nucleophilic attack, this carbonyl carbon has to be more positive in nature, more electrophilic in nature. Okay. So if we look over here, if any electron withdrawing group is attached to the carbonyl carbon, then what it will do is it will destabilize the carbonyl carbon. That is, it will withdraw electrons from the bonded pair in between itself and carbonyl carbon, and the withdrawal of electrons will be towards the electron withdrawing group. Okay, so we see over here that chlorine is an electron withdrawing group, so it will withdraw the bonded pair electron towards itself, and it will intensify the electrophilic nature of this carbonyl carbon. So if we consider this A and B, then A will have more electrophilic nature, so the nucleophile will go and attack to the option given in A. Okay, so our answer will be A, and this thing is also discussed in the lecture in the reactivity of aldehydes and ketones in the electronic factor. Okay, so our answer is A. Okay, now moving to this question, which of the following statements regarding aldehyde is not correct? Okay, we have to be very attentive over here what has been asked. Okay, here it is not correct. Okay, so carbonyl functional group is planar. Yes, we know that carbonyl carbon is having trigonal planar symmetry. Okay, the boiling points of aldehyde is greater than those of alkanes. Yes, we know that boiling points of aldehyde. Why boiling points of aldehyde is greater than alkanes? Alkanes do not have any dipole-dipole interaction. Okay, it has only van der Waals interaction, whereas aldehydes have both dipole-dipole as well as van der Waals interaction. How dipole-dipole? This one negative charge, this one positive charge. Then if you look over here, this one positive charge, this one negative charge, so there is one dipole-dipole interaction, that is interaction between two poles. Okay, dipole-dipole interaction means that the interaction between two molecules of two opposite poles. Okay, here, and this has also been discussed, the boiling points of aldehyde is greater than those of alcohols. So alcohols has hydrogen bonding, aldehyde has dipole-dipole interaction, and we know that dipole-dipole interaction is weaker than hydrogen bonding. Okay, but here in option C, here it is given that boiling points of aldehyde is greater than those of alcohol. So that means this statement is wrong. Okay, but to further proceed, but to further tick this option, let us see what option is given in number D. That is formaldehyde is gas at room temperature. Yes, formaldehyde is gas, we know that. Then option C is the correct answer. That is, this statement is not correct regarding aldehydes. Okay, because aldehyde has low boiling point. And why it has low boiling point? Because dipole-dipole interaction is weaker than hydrogen bonding. Alcohols have hydrogen bonding, so dipole-dipole interaction in aldehyde has lower boiling point. So our option will be number C. Now, the enol form of acetone after treatment with D2O. Okay, this D2O is nothing but water only. Okay, we know that hydrogen. Okay, hydrogen has three isotopes. First one is hydrogen. This one is the atomic number and this one is mass number. Okay, so lower one is atomic number and the upper one is mass number. So we know that hydrogen has three isotopes. First one is hydrogen, second one is deuterium. Okay, it is represented by capital D. It has atomic number 1, mass number 2, and the third one is tritium, represented by capital T. It also have the same atomic number, that is 1, but here the mass number is number 3. So here D2O means this hydrogen is replaced by deuterium. That means two hydrogens are replaced by two deuterium. Okay, it is just an isotope of hydrogen, that is this one is isotopic water. Okay, so if we see acetone over here, okay, suppose if we give one base here, okay, NaOH, this is the alpha carbon in acetone, and alpha carbon contains three hydrogens. Now this hydroxy base, what it will do is it will take this proton. Okay, now this carbon hydrogen bond will shift over carbon carbon single bond to make a carbon carbon double bond, and this pi orbital pi electron will go over oxygen, and now oxygen will bear a negative charge. Okay, and it will be like this, O minus. This one will be CH2. Now what is this? Here they are asking about the enol form. Okay, but this one is the enolate ion. Since oxygen bears a negative charge, so this one is a enolate ion. Okay, so to convert into total enol form, this oxygen has to capture a proton. Okay, so it will capture a deuterium from the D2O molecule. Okay, just like water, same, just it is replaced by an isotope of hydrogen. So it will capture this deuterium and give us the enol form. So this one is the enol form of acetone if we treat it with D2O. So from the given options, we see that option number A is matching with our structure. So the correct option is number A. Okay. Now, which of the following has most acidic hydrogen? This question came in JEE Advanced back in 2000. Okay. So first, let us draw the structures over here. 3-hexanone, and now this nomenclature of aldehydes will and this nomenclature of aldehydes and ketones will come into play. You have to know the nomenclature very nicely to draw the structures over here. Okay, see, hexanone means it has the on, that is ketone. Hexa means 6 carbon. Okay, so let us draw 6 carbon. 1 2 3 4 5 6. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, now the third number carbon. Okay, 3-hexanone means this third number carbon, or it can be written as hexanthreone. Okay, third number carbon bears the ketonic group. So 1 2 3, So this is the structure of 3-hexanon. Similarly, 2,4 hexane dione here. That means two ketonic group are present. So let us draw. Okay. So this one is 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now 5, 2, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then 2, 3 hexane dione. So they are asking about the most acidic hydrogen. Most acidic, okay. So if you see over here that number A has only one ketonic group, whereas number B, C and D has two ketonic group. So because of the two ketonic groups, obviously B, C and D will have more electron withdrawing influence over the carbon atoms. Okay, because of two electron withdrawing ketonic group. Now we look over here in C and D. Okay, so in C, this ketonic group withdraws electrons from this carbon and this carbon, and this ketonic group withdraws electron from this carbon and this carbon. Similarly, if we look over into D, this electron withdrawing group withdraws carbon from or withdraws electron from this carbon, and this electron withdrawing ketonic group also withdraws electron from this carbon atom, this carbonyl carbon. Similarly, the second ketonic group in D, that is in the third position, withdraws electron from this carbonyl group and this carbon atom. Okay, so if you look over here in these two, so electron withdrawing tendency of the first ketonic group from the second carbonyl carbon is neutralized by electron withdrawing tendency of the second ketonic group from the first carbonyl carbon. Okay, so these two are neutralized, means this one is pulling over here and this one is pulling over here. So this electron withdrawing tendency for the both carbonyl groups are neutralized, okay, because they have the same amount of withdrawing. Now if you look over in number of B, so this ketonic group withdraws electron from this carbon, and this ketonic group withdraws electron from this carbon and this carbon. So in option B, we see that both the electron withdrawing ketonic group have influence over this carbon. That means both electron withdrawing ketonic group withdraws electron from the same carbon atom. That means the hydrogen over this carbon atom will be the most acidic one as compared over C and D. Okay, because here this ketonic group, first ketonic and second ketonic group in option C and D are withdrawing electron from different carbon atoms, but in option B both the electron withdrawing ketonic group have influence over the same carbon atom. So the electron withdrawing so the carbon atom over here experience the most influence of electron withdrawing character. So the hydrogen atoms of this carbon will be the most acidic one, and you can see over here that this compound is nothing but an active methylene compound. Okay, if you see over here, this one is the CH2 group, and here these two are electron withdrawing group, that is this one electron withdrawing group and this one electron withdrawing group. Okay, both are carbonyl, and this one is hydrogen and hydrogen, that is number B is the B is the active methylene group, and in active methylene group we know that the hydrogen atoms are most acidic one. Okay, so our correct option is number B. Okay, so I could have said you that option B is active methylene group. So active methylene groups, hydrogen will be the most acidic one. But you have to look for the other options also. Option C or option D, or in fact option A. Okay, not in this question, but in different questions, the rest other options may contain similar kind of answer, that is a similar kind of active methylene group. Then you have to consider that in these two or three active methylene groups, which group has most electron withdrawing character. Okay, so you have to look for all the options first, then you go and select your correct one. Now next, benzaldehyde differs from acetaldehyde in that, okay, benzaldehyde is an aldehyde. Okay, this one is benzaldehyde. It contains an aromatic ring, and acetaldehyde is simply an aliphatic aldehyde. So if we look over here, what are the two differences? Okay, so benzaldehyde and acetaldehyde, it is an aromatic ring, it has aromatic character, and it has aliphatic. And another difference is that benzaldehyde does not contain any alpha hydrogen, whereas acetaldehyde contains 3 alpha hydrogens. Okay, these two are the differences. Now let us look over here. What can be the correct answer? Okay, so what is the correct statement we have to choose over here? So benzaldehyde does not react with Tollens reagent. So this one is false. Okay, all aldehydes reacts with Tollens reagent. Why? Although benzaldehyde, okay, aromatic aldehydes has less tendency to react, but Tollens reagent has silver ions, and the reducing property of the silver ion is very high. So every aldehyde in Tollens reagents gets oxidized, okay, and the Tollens reagent get reduced. Now benzaldehyde does not react with Fehling solution. Yeah, this one is correct. In Fehling solution, copper ions are present, and the electron and the reducing property of copper ions is not that great. Okay, so aromatic aldehydes and their derivatives does not react with Fehling solution. So this one is correct. Option C is benzaldehyde does not react with HCl. This one is false. All the aldehydes react with HCl to form a cyanohydride. Similarly, they also give addition reaction with sodium bisulfite. Okay, so our correct option is number B. Now, which one of the following will most readily be dehydrated in acidic condition? So if we look over here, then we can see this dehydration. Okay, dehydration means loss of water molecule. So if we lost water molecule, suppose this one is gets protonated OH2 plus, then these groups leaves, leaving behind a carbocation. Okay, similarly, if we draw carbocations over our options, okay, this one is will be like this. So what will be going on is that now if there is a carbocation, so now there will be a tendency, okay, to make a double bond from the alpha carbon, okay, from the this alpha carbon named from the carbon adjacent to the carbocation, okay. If the hydrogens adjacent, if the hydrogens adjacent to the carbocation is leaving as proton, then there will be a double bond formation like this, okay. So let us draw the double bonds. So in this option A, this hydrogen atom will leave and we will get a double bond over here. Similarly here also we will get double bond here. In this one we will get double bond here, and in this one we will get a double bond over here, okay, and there will be no OH now. So let us look over here. So in this option, option number B, we are getting an simple alkene, okay. So here there is no group that can stabilize this one or destabilize this carbocation, okay. Similarly over C we are getting an alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound. See, we have seen in this acrolein one, this alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl, okay. The polarization is occurring in across four atoms. So the number of conjugation increases, the stability of the compound increases, okay. If we consider over here that, okay, this one, this alpha beta unsaturated, this one, okay, if we consider and we consider this conjugation, okay, since in this compound the conjugation is more, okay, two double bond is in conjugation with the carbonyl group, so this compound is more stable compared to this single conjugation compound, okay. So conjugation increases, then stability increases, okay. So as a result, if you look over here, this one has only carbonyl group and this double bond is in not conjugation with this carbonyl group, whereas option C and option D, okay, has this conjugated carbonyl group. But if we look closely, then in option C the alpha carbon bears the positive charge, whereas in option A the beta carbon bears the positive charge. So in option C, as alpha carbon bears the positive charge, so this carbocation will be highly destabilized. Why destabilized? Because it is adjacent to a electron withdrawing group. So electron withdrawing groups have withdrawing tendency, so it will withdraw electrons from the carbon atom which is devoid of any electron, okay. Yes, this carbon atom now has now is electron deficient, and this carbonyl group is withdrawing electron from the electron deficient carbon, so it will destabilize it more. So the dehydration will not occur in this C to make alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl, okay, since we are getting an unstabilized carbocation. Similarly, now if we look to number A, no such destabilization is happening over here, and finally we are getting an alpha beta unsaturated, so no destabilization, and second one is we are getting a conjugated carbonyl carbon, okay. So this option A is will be this option A will be our the correct answer, since after dehydration There is no such destabilization by this carbonyl group, and also we are getting alpha beta unsaturated compound. Okay, so option A is the correct. And also you see this one. Okay, this option A, this one is the aldol product. Okay, this is the second step of the aldol addition. Okay, you take acetaldehyde and then perform the aldol reaction, you will get this aldol product, that is beta hydroxy. Oh sorry, here you take acetone, not acetaldehyde. Here you take acetone and perform the aldol condensation, so you are getting beta hydroxy ketone. And if you heat it, then beta hydroxy ketone readily undergoes dehydration to give you alpha beta unsaturated ketones. Okay, and this one came in IIT JEE 2000. Now, when an acetaldehyde is heated with Fehling solution, it gives the precipitate of. So in Fehling solution, we know that CuO, okay, that is copper in +2 form. I have told you that you can write the Fehling's overall, I mean, you can write the Fehling's reagent, the actual Fehling's reagent, or you can give like this also, CuO. But in your board exams, if they are asking, then you have to write your Fehling's reagent along with this CuO. Okay, in Fehling's reagent, the copper is in +2 oxidation state, and here also it is in +2 oxidation state. So what happens is that copper in +1 oxidation state reduces to copper in, oh sorry, copper in +2 oxidation state reduces to copper in +1 oxidation state. Okay, so now if we want to balance this one, what will be the, this oxygen has -2 charge and this copper has +1 charge. So to balance this one, we will put here 2, then this will be balanced. Okay, this oxygen -2 and 2 atoms of copper +1 neutralizes the charge. So you are getting CuO, and this one is a precipitate, reddish brown precipitate. Okay, so what, according to the question, our answer will be C. Okay, now the reaction with acetone in zinc amalgam concentrated HCl. So zinc amalgam concentrated HCl, and here reduction of ketone to hydrocarbon. So that means it is a Clemenson reduction. Now which of the following will react with water? So you see over here that among this question came from the topic hydration of aldehydes. Now in hydration of aldehyde, the aldehyde reacts with water, okay, to give you, what you say, this geminal diol. Okay, this geminal diol or 1,1 diols. Now here this one was the aldehyde, and here this alpha carbon contains 3 carbonyl group. So this alpha carbon contains 3 chlorine group, not carbonyl group. Sorry, my mistake. Alpha carbon contains 3 chlorine group. Now this chlorine group has electron withdrawing character, so it will be partially negative charge. And if we consider this hydroxy group, these hydrogens have partial positive charge, so negative and positive, so this will interact among themselves. Okay, so we are seeing that this molecule is hydrated. This molecule after hydration is stabilized by 2 hydrogen bondings, that is, this one is the chloral aldehyde. Okay, and this one after hydration, it is known as chloral hydrate. I have shown you that this compound is stable in water due to 2 hydrogen bonding. Okay, so This came in 1998, this question. So our option will be C. Okay. Since another thing is there, since no other aldehyde is present over here, okay, in these options, okay, so no other aldehyde is present, this aldehyde is present. But if two or three aldehydes were given, then you have to choose the correct one. Then you have to look for the alpha carbon. If any group is there or not, if after hydration they can stabilize the hydrated form. Now, correct order of reactivity of phenyl magnesium bromide. This one is Grignard reagent. So here we see that benzophenone, acetaldehyde, acetophenone. Oh, sorry, acetone. We know that aldehyde is more reactive than acetone. So according to the reactivity, aldehyde, this if we number this one, 2, 3. So aldehyde will be the one with highest reactivity with phenyl magnesium bromide. Now if we look over benzophenone and acetone, both are ketonic group. But in benzophenone, there is some steric strain due to two phenyl groups, whereas in acetophenone there is no such strain, okay, as compared to benzophenone. So next follows the reactivity will be the in the order 2, that is first one acetaldehyde, then acetone, and the least one will be benzophenone, 2, 3, 1. So if we look over in here in the option, then we see that always see this mark, okay, whether it is given in ascending order or descending order. I have written in descending order, okay, but here they are giving first two options in descending order and the last two option in ascending order, okay. So if we look over here, the correct option is number C, okay, that is acetaldehyde will be in the highest reactive one and benzophenone will be the least reactive one. So our option C is the correct one. Now, the reduction of this compound with BH3THF followed by H2O2. So, BH3THF, now it reacts with alkene, okay. So, it reacts with alkene, give vicinal boranes, okay, through syn addition, and then oxidative cleavage gave us this alcohol, okay. Now, from this we are getting this allylic alcohol, okay. So if we look over option in this does not contain any allylic alcohol, this contain a tertiary alcohol. Similarly, this also contain tertiary and this also contain tertiary alcohol. So we are left with option A only, okay. But you have to consider this one also. If in question, if in this question, if suppose option C would have contain allylic alcohol, then you have to consider the second reaction, okay. So now the second reaction, you see that sodium borohydride. So sodium borohydride, what it does not reduces double bond, okay. Olefins, it does not reduces. What it reduces is carbonyl group. So it will reduce ketone to secondary alcohol, okay. Okay, my mistake here, okay. See here that if you consider, they are also giving this secondary alcohol, okay, here, oh sorry, this allylic alcohol over here, okay. But the catch is they are asking the product in the respective manner, that is first one will always give this allylic alcohol, okay, not this first one will give the allylic alcohol in the second option, okay. If we consider these two options A and B, in option B the allylic alcohol is in second one, okay, and here they are asking in respective manner, that is first one will contain the answer for the first one, okay, here. not in the second option, so this one will be incorrect. Okay, so we see over here that this one gives allylic alcohol. Here this would be CHOH, okay, not CH2OH. So this one contains allylic alcohol, and the second one will reduce ketone to tertiary alcohol. Okay, oh sorry, not tertiary, it's secondary alcohol. Sodium borohydride does not reduces this olefin, it reduces only this carbonyl group, and here it is ketone, and ketone is reduced to secondary alcohol by sodium borohydride and lithium aluminum hydride. Okay, so see, oh, this one, this allylic, this double bond remains intact, and this one is, this carbonyl is reduced to secondary alcohol. Okay, so this one is the answer. Now, the reduction of this alpha beta unsaturated by Clemenson reduction and Wolff-Kishner reduction. So we know that in Clemenson and Wolff-Kishner reduction, this carbonyl group is reduced to hydrocarbon. Okay, so we look for the option over here. So in this one, both the answer contains aldehyde. Okay, that is carbonyl group. So option B and option C will be the incorrect one. So this one is elimination method. Okay, we know that final product will be a hydrocarbon, but we have to check, and in this one we see that this 2 contains aldehyde group, that is a carbonyl group. So this 2 option is not our correct answer, so we can eliminate this. So now we are left over with A and C. Okay, now this one is like the 50-50 option in KBC. Okay, now we are left with A and C. So if we see this one, Clemenson reduction. Okay, in Clemenson reduction, the reagents have a very unique property to reduce the olefin. Okay, to reduce the unsaturated olefin. Okay, it will does not reduce an isolated olefin. Okay, it will not reduce like this. So see, this one is an isolated olefin. Okay, this one is not in conjugation. So these Clemenson reagents will not reduce isolated olefin, but it can reduce alpha beta unsaturated olefin. Okay, so in option C we see that alpha beta unsaturated olefin has been reduced, and this Wolff-Kishner reduction, this will not reduce this olefin, it will only reduce this carbonyl group. Okay, so here Clemenson reduction has a edge that it can reduce the alpha beta unsaturation also. Okay, so our option will be C, that is this Clemenson reducing reagent reduces both carbon-carbon double bond and CHO groups, while this Wolff-Kishner reduction reagent reduces only the CHO group. Now moving to number 14, the reagent that can be used to convert butane 2 on to propanoic acid. Okay, we draw the structure of butane 2 on. Now to propanoic acid. 2, 3. Okay, so this one is butane 2 on and this one is propanoic acid. So we see over here that from the substrate which contains 4 carbon atom, we are getting a product which contains 3 carbon atom, that is cleavage of 1 carbon atom. Okay, so we see that Fehling solution and Tollens reagent. So this one is a ketone, and ketone will not give this Fehling solution and Tollens test. Okay, and moreover this Fehling solution and in Tollens test, what they were what we were getting is the same, that what do you say, in Fehling solution and in Tollens reagent we were getting the alkali salt of carboxylic acids which contains the same carbon atom, but here we are getting one carbon atom less. Okay, but in that one Fehling solution and Tollens reagent the carbon atoms were same. Okay, now NaOH and NaI, and here NaOH and I2. So this reagent is quite familiar. This one is the reagent of haloform reaction, and in haloform reaction we know that this alpha ketone group gives haloform reaction, and here we have this alpha ketonic group. Okay, in alpha ketonic group uh, what phenomenon was occurring, that this alpha carbon and this ketonic group, this bond gets break. Okay, and here this alpha methyl forms and iodoform CH(I3), which is yellow in color, and the rest, this carbonyl group, is oxidized to carboxylic acid. So this is just a haloform reaction. So our option will be D. Okay. Now a compound molecular formula C3H8O is treated with acidic potassium dichromate to form a product of molecular formula C3H6O. So if you look over here, okay, C3H8O and C3H6O, that means here there is a loss of two hydrogen molecule. That means oxidation has taken place, as you will get from acidified potassium dichromate. So from alcohol you are getting aldehyde or ketone. So look over here, we don't know whether it is a primary alcohol or secondary alcohol. So the product over here, that is the product B, can be aldehyde or ketone. Now B forms a shining silver mirror on warming with ammoniacal silver nitrate solution. So ammoniacal silver nitrate solution is nothing but Tollens reagent. That means B gives silver nitrate test, so B should be an aldehyde. Okay, so B is an aldehyde. Now when treated with semicarbazide and sodium acetate gives a product C. Okay, so now we look over here. So our B, okay, molecular formula C3H6O. So if we look, so this is our B, that is 1 2 3 carbon, 3 4 5 6 and 6 hydrogen atoms, C3H6O. This is our compound B. Now this B gives, when treated with semicarbazide, will give semicarbazole. Okay, that means this double bond you just replace it with ammonia derivatives, that is NZ, and Z will be here the semicarbazide derivative. Okay, so this will be our product. So that means number B and number C are incorrect here, because it was ketone before reacting with semicarbazide, but since it gives a positive silver nitrate test, so it should be an aldehyde. Now let us look into the options given over here. Okay, A and B. So there A and B are differing in this particular group. Okay, how you should write this semicarbazide in the product. So this is a semicarbazide reaction. Okay, that is the addition of semicarbazide to give us the semicarbazone with ketone. Okay, now see over here that this contains two NH2 group, first one over here and the second one over here, and we know that it will release a water molecule, so water molecule can release from both NH2 group. Okay, but the catch is that this reaction is a nucleophilic addition reaction. So nitrogen with its lone pair will go and attack over the carbonyl carbon. If you consider this one, okay, first one and the second one, second NH2 group. In first NH2 group, it can easily go and attack over there. But the second NH2 group, this lone pair of nitrogen is in conjugation with the carbonyl carbon. So the lone pair in nitrogen will be less available for the nucleophilic addition. So always the free NH2 group will go and react. Okay. So always keep in mind the free NH2 group, not in with the conjugation with carbonyl group. Okay, free NH2 group will go and react with the carbonyl carbon. So you get the semicarbazole in which there is CONH2 group. Okay, so we look over here. In this option there is no CONH2 group. Okay, if you see, then it contains CONH group, not CONH2, but over here it contains a CONH2 group. So our correct option is A. Now the pH requirement for addition of HCN to ketone is, see, HCN, if we react only HCN, then it will give the addition product very slow. So we used to give a base which should abstract a proton from HCN to give us the cyanide ion. Okay, so now if we are giving a slight weak base, then the pH will be around 9 to 10 over here. Okay, see, 13 to 14 is very you say strong basic condition. Okay, we will not give strong basic condition, otherwise we will get that OH will go and attack to the carbonyl group. Okay, so we are giving slight basic condition. Okay, so our option will be C. Next, which of the following statements regarding carbonyl group is not correct? See, here is not. Okay, that means it is false. So the carbonyl atom of carbonyl group is in aldehyde is sp2 hybridized. It is correct. The carbon atom of carbonyl group in transition state formed during addition reaction across carbonyl group is sp3 hybridized. Yeah, this one is also correct. In this one, alkoxide group is forming, which is tetrahedral, so sp3 hybridized. The aryl group in aromatic aldehydes speeds up addition reaction across carbonyl group. So if we look over here, this one is incorrect. An aryl group stabilizes an aldehyde more than the transition state. And this one is correct. Aryl group will stabilize the aldehyde. So why is it so? This aryl group in aromatic aldehyde speeds up addition reaction across carbonyl group because why is it? Why it is? What do you say? Incorrect. Because aromatic aldehydes, okay, have bulky phenyl group over here. Okay, bulky phenyl group. So if we consider any aliphatic group, okay, if you consider aliphatic group, then nucleophile will come and approach here easily as compared to this aromatic group because of this steric strain. As a result, that aromatic analog always have lesser reactivity compared to its alkyl analog. Okay, and in this one they are telling us that aryl group in aromatic aldehydes speeds up the addition reaction. So no way it can speed up the addition reaction. Why? Because of steric strain, it will delay the addition reaction. Okay, so option C is the, in this question C is the false statement, so option C will be our correct answer. Now the reaction, this one, okay, this one involves what? This is simply just a nucleophilic addition reaction, so our option will be B. Okay, here nucleophilic addition. Now there is one catch. Okay, Here they are telling that nucleophilic addition across double bond, and we know that cyanohydrin always reacts at the carbonyl center. Okay, so how this reaction is taking place? So now if you look over here, then you see that this one is alpha beta unsaturated aldehyde ketone over here. Okay, it is ketone. Now first one is, here will be the addition of proton. Okay, so what you are getting is OH plus. Okay, like this. Now since you can see this is a acrolein type molecule, okay, so what you will get is like this. After this delocalization, this double bond will go over here, and this double bond will go and stabilize this OH plus. So you will get this enol form, and in this enol form the beta carbon will have a positive charge. Now this form is the most stable form, since here the charge is dispersed over 4 atoms, that is the charge is delocalized across 4 atoms, so this form is the stable form. So now we have cyanide ion. Okay, this cyanide ion will go and react at this positive center, so what you will get is this one cyanide, this enol form, and now this enol form will go back into the keto form via tautomerization. You know the how to do tautomerization. Okay, so you see over here that this carbonyl, and here you will get CN. That means in the final product you can see that nucleophilic addition occurs across the double bond, since carbonyl carbon remains intact, so addition reaction occurs in the across the double bond. Okay, so this way the reaction takes place. First, this oxygen is protonating to give us the enol form. Okay, and in this enol form the beta carbon contains a positive charge, and then nucleophilic addition occurs in that beta carbon, and after that ketonyl tautomerization gives us the product in which the nucleophilic addition occurs across the double bond. So this one reaction, okay, this reaction, okay, pH CO pH, pH CO pH. Now you are giving hydroxyl amine, so this will be hydrazone, simple. Now NOH. Now if you give PCl5, that is an acid, what it will do is it will undergo Beckmann rearrangement. So this one OH to, actually it will be OHP. P is the electrophile over here, then it will leave. How it will leave? The anti one, see here both are symmetrical, so anyone can go, so you have not you don't have to look for the symmetry. Okay, that is the anti-symmetry over here. Which side OH will be there? In the right hand position the OH will be, or it will be in the left hand position, left hand side position. Okay, you do not have to worry about this, since it is a symmetrical ketone. So this pH it will go, and this OH will leave. So what you will get is N, here pH, and this pH. Now this carbon contains positive charge, then water will go and attack over here. Then after tautomerization, what you will get is CO pH NH pH. Okay, so this will be your final product. So you can see over here that option C is the correct one. Okay, Next, metachlorobenzaldehyde on reaction with concentrated KOH. So metachlorobenzaldehyde. So we are using concentrated KOH. Okay, this benzaldehyde, and in meta position there is one chlorine atom. So this is your metachlorobenzaldehyde. So it does not contain any alpha carbon, oh sorry, alpha hydrogens. Okay, and here we are utilizing concentrated KOH. Okay, this concentrated KOH. So concentrated alkali, and the aldehyde does not contain any alpha hydrogen. So what we will get is Cannizzaro reaction. So in Cannizzaro reaction, one aldehyde molecule is oxidized to alkali salt and another molecule is reduced. So we look over here in the options in which this oxidation and reduction is there. Okay, so first one, potassium metachlorobenzoate. Okay, that is the alkali salt, and metahydroxybenzaldehyde. See here, metahydroxy, that means they are telling that chlorine is substituted by OH ions. So this one is not our answer. Second one is metahydroxybenzaldehyde. No way we are getting metahydroxybenzaldehyde. Okay, we are getting what? Alcohol and acid. So where there is benzaldehyde, that option will be our incorrect option. So here benzaldehyde incorrect. In this one, benzaldehyde incorrect. Okay. Now number C, metachlorobenzyl alcohol. Yeah, we are getting metachlorobenzyl alcohol. But here also they are giving benzyl alcohol. So this one is incorrect. And number D, potassium metachlorobenzoate. Yeah, we are getting carboxylic salt and metachlorobenzyl alcohol. Okay, so our option D is correct option, since we are getting here acid and alcohol. So our answer is number D. Now, in Cannizzaro reaction, the intermediate that will be the best hydride donor. So we look for the hydride donation over here. So in option B, C and D, we have 2 O minus. Okay. So this O minus can delocalize over here. As a result, this hydride can leave. Hydride means hydrogen along with this bond. Okay. So B, C and D. But in A only one O minus. Okay, but here no hydrogen atoms. So here hydrogen transfer cannot take place, since option A does not contain any hydrogen atom, that is it is lacking hydrogen atoms, that is so it cannot undergo hydride transfer. So we have to look over B, C and D. So in B it is normal phenyl group. In C, one alkoxy is present, that is electron donating, and in D, electron withdrawing. So now we see what electron withdrawing does is it withdraws electron from the benzene ring towards itself, and what electron donating does, it gives electrons to the benzene ring. So if we look at the resonance of electron donating, then we see that this electron donating group pushes the benzene ring electron towards the carbonyl carbon. Okay, so as a result, this hydride ion can leave easily. Okay, same thing is happening with the oxygen atoms. See, okay, this oxygen giving its lone pair, this double bond shifts over here, and this double bond shifts over here. Now this carbon is pentavalent, so it can eliminate hydride ion. Similarly, if we look, O minus makes double bond, then carbon becomes pentavalent, so it can eliminate hydride. Okay, same thing. So here we are seeing that three factors, that is two, because of two hydrogen and because of one this benzene ring. If we look over here, then it has two factors, that is only two oxygen atom, and if we look over here, then it has two oxygen atom but has a negative factor which withdraws electrons from the benzene ring. So if it withdraws electron benzene from the benzene ring, so what will happen, that this carbonyl carbon, okay, now this benzene ring will withdraw electron from this carbonyl carbon, okay, via inductive effect, minus I effect. So this one has a negative factor, that is 2 minus 1, you can give that 1. So for hydride transfer, the factors are here 3, 2, 1. So our answer is number C. Okay. Now a mixture of benzaldehyde and formaldehyde on heating with aqueous NaOH. So benzaldehyde and formaldehyde does not contain alpha hydrogen atoms, and you are heating it with aqueous NaOH. That means Cannizzaro reaction. So the aldehyde, which is more reactive, will undergo oxidation. Okay, that was the point. So among benzaldehyde and acetaldehyde, among benzaldehyde and formaldehyde, benzaldehyde is more reactive. So we will look for the answer in which benzaldehyde is oxidized to sodium formate and benzaldehyde is reduced to benzyl alcohol. So you see over here this option A, benzyl alcohol and sodium formate. That is formaldehyde is oxidized to sodium formate and benzaldehyde is reduced to benzyl alcohol. So our option will be number A. Now this one, you see that this portion is symmetrical in nature. That is, this one left hand side is equals to right hand side, and left hand side contains to this aldehyde group. Similarly, right hand side also contains two aldehydic group. So you are giving NaOH and 100 degrees Celsius, that is in alkali medium you are heating, that means Cannizzaro reaction. So in Cannizzaro reaction, one molecule is oxidized and one molecule is reduced. That means one molecule will be acid and another molecule will be ketone. So you see over here, this one is acid, ketone, acid, ketone. Okay, so our option will be number B. Also one thing is there, that this acid and ketone, okay, may form one lactone. Okay, see, if this O minus OH, okay, if it is like this, okay, so this acid can form lactone by releasing one water molecule. Okay, but after releasing, this is possible only when the ring is formed 5-membered or 6-membered ring. Why 5-membered or 6-membered? That means this lactone should be 5-membered or 6-membered. Okay, this is lactone, cyclic ketones. Okay, that is cyclic ester ketones, cyclic ester you can say, yeah, cyclic ester. This is lactone. Okay, cyclic ester, you see that this is the ester group, this one is cyclic, so cyclic esters are lactones. So 5 or 6 membered, as 5 or 6 membered ring are have minimum steric strain, okay, ring strain. So this, if in your molecule this alcohol and acid is present, then it can undergo reaction, that is lactonization. Okay, then lactone will be formed. So here we see that in option D, lactone is forming. Okay, but if we look over here, then we can see the ring formation. Okay, what will be the ring size if we consider cyclization over here? Okay, ring cyclization in option B. See over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. See, this acidic oxygen is going and attacking at the alcoholic carbon. Okay, so you have to consider the acidic oxygen also, since acidic oxygen is present in the ring. So here we are getting a 7-membered ring. So 7-membered ring is not that much stable, so lactonization will not take place. So it will remain in discrete manner, that is aldehyde, that is alcohol and acid. Okay, since 7-membered ring is not stable, so it is not undergoing any cyclization. And also here you see that in number D they are giving a 6-membered ring. So 6-membered ring is not possible over here. Okay, so the option D is incorrect. So our option will be number B. Now this reaction, you see here, this is vicinal diol. Vicinal diol is concentrated H2SO4, that means it will go pinacol pinacolon rearrangement. So vicinal diols are also known as pinacols. So what will you know the mechanism over pinacol rearrangement? Okay, so first we have to look for the carbocation, stability of carbocation. So see over here, this carbon, this first carbon and the second carbon, if positive charge forms over this carbon, that is the second carbon, if carbocation forms over second carbon, then there is nothing to stabilize it. Okay, but if carbocation forms on the first carbon, then there are two methyl groups. Okay, two methyl groups to stabilize the carbocation. Okay, here, so water will eliminate from the first carbon. So what you will get is this one. This has hydrogen, hydrogen and OH. So this carbocation is stable. So now what? So the next step is 1,2 migration of alkyl groups. So this OH will form a double bond over here and this hydrogen will migrate over here. Okay, so what you will get is this one. So we look for the answer. So we can see the answer is number D. Okay, so similar reaction, diols and this concentrated H2SO4. So now over here we see that if carbocation forms over this first carbon, okay, this one is, let us number this one, first carbon, second carbon. So if carbocation forms over first carbon, then it is tertiary carbon. Okay, and if carbocation forms over the second carbon, then it is also a tertiary carbon. But if carbocation forms over this first carbon, and I have previously told you that this cyclobutane, okay, has 90-degree angle. Okay, but since it is a tetrahedral carbon, tetrahedral should be 109.5 degrees. Okay, now if carbocation forms over this first carbon, then the hybridization of this carbon will change from sp3 to sp2, and sp2 carbon has 120-degree bond angle. So you see that if carbocation is formed over this carbon, then the bond strength will increase. Okay, that is, sorry, the ring strength will increase. Previously it was the difference between, it was the difference of uh, around, yeah, it was the difference of 19.5 degree. Okay, now after forming carbocation, the ring strength will be of 30 degree. So ring strength destabilizes the carbocation. So as a result, carbocation will not form in number 1. So carbocation will form over here. Okay, so next what will happen is the stabilize 1,2 alkyl shift. So here this carbocation forms, this will form double bond. Now see, it's a cyclobutane, it is a symmetrical, so you can migrate any group. So this group will migrate. Now you see, okay, so previously it was cyclobutane, now one bond is broken and it is shifted over another carbon. So if you number this one, 1 2 3 4, previously it was a 4 carbon. Now this bond between 1 and 4 is broken and a bond between 1 and this carbon is formed, that is 5. So you will see over there, bond between 1 and a bond between 4 and 5 is formed and bond between 1 and 4 is broken. So you are getting a 5 membered ring. So you see over here in the answer, this one contains 5 membered ring and you will get a ketone and these 2 methyl groups. Okay, so answer is number D. Now in number this one, okay, similarly we will check first the stability of carbocation. If here one carbocation is forming in the first carbon and in the second carbocation, so you see that this second carbon has a phenyl ring, which will stabilize the carbocation through resonance. So carbocation will form over this carbon and then this OH will form double bond. Similarly, this is a cyclopentane symmetrical molecule, so any of the alkyl group can shift over here. So previously it was 5 membered ring, now it will be 6 membered ring. So our option will be number D. Okay, you try the mechanism part. Okay, if you have any problem then let me know in the comments below. Now the reduction of acetone with magnesium amalgam. So magnesium amalgam gives us diol by which pathway? So there are two pathways. First one is just simply that carbocation carbanion pathways, and the second one is radical pathway. So here we are getting radical pathway. So acetone and magnesium amalgam. So it will give us the pinacol. Okay, and which pinacol you will get? You just work out and you will get the answer as number D. Okay, so this one is pinacol rearrangement, pinacol reaction. Okay, pinacol reaction. Now the compound that gives a positive iodoform test. So let us draw all the structures. So this one is pentanol. Now 2 pentane, 3 pentanol, and this is pentanal. Okay, so to give positive iodoform test, ketophenyl group must be present, that is CH3CO group. So in this option, this contain ketophenyl group. Okay, so our answer will be number B. Now this one, in this reaction, okay, the species X is, so if you look over here, this X, okay, you just break this one. That means what you are getting is you see here CH3. Okay, this one CHO. Means you just distribute the water molecule over here. Okay, since dehydration taking place, that is you give over here O, here H2. Okay, that means acetic acid. Okay, and also here you can see that you are using sodium salt of acetic acid. So this is the reaction condition for Perkin reaction. Okay, that means the addition part, okay, that will be the compound which will get added over the carbonyl group. Okay, that compound along with the sodium or potassium salt, of that counter ion you have to use. Okay, so that is Parking reaction, and in Parking reaction you use always anhydride. So our option here is number B, since this one is the anhydride of acetic acids, that is acetic anhydride here. Now this one, which of the following compounds on treatment with aqueous alkali followed by acidification gives us lactone? Okay, so previously I have said that acid and alcohol, okay, acid and alcohol cyclizes to give you lactone, and the cyclization will take place if the ring formed, that is the lactone ring, forms 5 membered or 6 membered. So if you see over here, then it is a 5 membered cyclic ring, that is 5 membered lactone ring. Okay, so we look over the options in which the starting material must be aldehyde, okay, aldehyde or any ketone which does not contain any alpha carbon. Okay, that will undergo this with aqueous alkali Cannizzaro reaction, and after acidification this will give us ketone. So we look over here and we see that option D contains both aldehydic group, so it can undergo Cannizzaro reaction and further acidification gives us lactone. So this came in 2008 IIT JEE Advanced. Okay, now number 31. So if you see this one, if you heat this compound, this is a beta keto acid, and I have said that in previous classes beta keto acid undergoes decarboxylation if we heat it. Okay, so this is a beta keto acid, so if you heat it, it will undergo decarboxylation. To give you this one. Okay, so now look over here. This star marks, that is asterisk mark, indicates 13 carbon. Okay, that means it is the isotope of carbon 12. That means normally this carbon has mass number 12 normal carbons, but this one contains 13 mass number. So this one is an isotope. Excuse me. So if we see over here, then this carbon atom must be the isotopic one. Okay, so in our option number B and option number C and option number D. Okay, option number A is incorrect, so these carbons contain the right answer, that is compound E is correct in these options. Now if you see over here, then in this question they are giving I2 in anyways, that is haloform reaction. So obviously this will be cleaved over here. Okay, sorry, not this one, since this option is incorrect. So this will be cleaved over here. Okay, now after cleavage you are getting, see, same thing. Okay, but if you see in option D, this one has CH3I. So CH3I is not our iodoform. Okay, it is just simply methyl iodide. So option D is incorrect. So now we are left over with option B and option C. Now in option C you see that there is no isotopic carbon present. Okay, see in this one, that is benzoate one, sodium benzoate, there is no isotopic carbon, and in this iodoform there is no isotopic carbon, whereas in C there is this isotopic carbon. Okay, So our option C will be the correct one. So always see that here they are mentioning that this carbon atom is isotopic carbon, that is 13C. Okay, so you have to check the final results in which this isotopic carbon is present in its right place. So first one, this isotopic carbon should be here, and after this cleavage this isotopic carbon should become the iodoform. Okay, so you have to always check for that option. Now this one, this came in 2009, IIT JEE Advanced. A carbonyl compound P which gives positive iodoform test. That means the carbonyl, this contains ketophenyl ketomethyl group. So our options C and D are incorrect. Option B and option A contains ketomethyl group. So this undergoes reaction with methyl magnesium bromide followed by dehydration to give olefin Q. Okay. Then ozonolysis leads to the dicarbonyl which undergoes intramolecular aldol condensation to give S. So you have to look for the options here. So if we take option A, okay, and if you do the Grignard reaction, so what you will get is this compound. Okay, see here methyl magnesium, here also methyl. So this either this compound or this compound if you take option A. Okay, now then ozonolysis of Q leads to a carbonyl compound R. So ozonolysis means we have to break this carbon-carbon double bond. So first one will be aldehyde. See over here they are using reductive workup. Okay, so you will get aldehyde and ketone. This aldehyde will not be further hydrolyzed, further oxidized to acid since it is a reductive workup. So you will get a ketone and an aldehyde. So you are getting ketone, you are getting here ketone, okay, and here aldehyde. But here you see that it is COMe, but here it should be aldehyde and aldehyde. Both it should be aldehyde. Okay, see here. So if you take option A, then this one is correct. Okay. So you are taking. I am stating that for first you are getting if you take A, okay, and if you take B then you, okay. So this one is the question for first, this one for second, and this one for third one. Okay, so for first one if I choose the option as A, then in the second question my answer will be B. Okay, now for the third one the product S is, so now you are giving this OH minus and heat. That means it will undergo Cannizzaro reaction to form lactone. Okay, see this one CHO CHO both are devoid of any alpha hydrogen. So it will undergo Cannizzaro reaction to give acid and alcohol, and that will cyclize to give us lactone. But in number 3, in this option we cannot see any lactone. Okay, so this one is our means this choosing of option A is wrong. Okay, so for the first one the option will be number B. Okay, then from B if we perform this reaction, perform this Grignard reaction, then we see that we are getting the product as just a minute. Okay, okay, one thing is missing. Okay, this must contain a methyl group. Oh, sorry, not this must contain a methyl group over here. Okay, this option is okay, incorrect. Okay, this one must contain a methyl group. Okay, so this option A we are getting this one. Okay, now if we break this one, that is ozonolysis, so you are getting COMe. Okay, because of this you are getting COMe, and here you are getting aldehyde. Okay, so this option A is right. So then for if you choose B, then second question's answer will be A. Now if you look over here, the COMe and this aldehyde, that means this COMe contains alpha carbon, that means sorry, alpha hydrogen, so it can undergo aldol condensation. So aldol condensation for and will give us the aldol product, and further heating will give us the alpha beta unsaturated product. So if we perform if we draw the mechanism, then you will see that the final product will be option B over here. Okay, see this one, CO2 Me, and then this will be CO, and this will be OH. Okay, I'm not drawing the phenyl portion. Now here hydrogen is present, so this can undergo dehydration to give you this alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl. Okay, so what is our options? So our options is for 1 that is B, for 2 it is A, and for 3 it is B. Okay, now you have to match the correct answers. So first over here we see that this COCl is reduced to CHO. Okay, means COCl is converted to CHO. That means only one hydrogen hydride is transferring over this one. So among the following, lithium aluminum hydride has 4 hydride atoms. Okay, this lithium tri tert butoxy aluminum hydride has 1 hydride atom. So this A will be R. Okay, now here COCl is reduced to CH2OH. So first COCl will be converted to CHO, then CHO will be reduced to CH2OH. So among this, the option are lithium aluminum hydride, BH3, and this hydrazine. Okay, so the suitable, so the answer is here is P, that is lithium aluminum hydride, as it contains 4 reducible hydrogens. So here it is, number B is P. Then we look over here, number C. So this olefin, so olefin is always reduced by borons. Okay, so here it is Q, and last one is this CHO is reduced to hydrocarbon, so that is hydrazine in strong base, that is Ulm-Kirchner reduction. So D is S. So the options are like this: A is R, B is P, C is Q, D is S. Okay, now acetone and acetaldehyde are differentiated by, so acetone and acetaldehyde, acetone acetaldehyde, So if you perform NaOH-I2, that is iodoform test, both will give the iodoform test. Now this one is tolerance test. So tolerance test is always given by aldehydes. Then HNO2 simply oxidations, and this one last I2. Okay, so here it is tolerance test. So you utilizing tolerance reagent, you can distinguish between acetone and aldehyde. Then an organic compound has molecular formula C3H6O. It undergoes iodoform test. So it undergoes iodoform test. That means it should be, it should contain ketomethyl group. That is, it should contain this ketomethyl group. Okay. Now three carbon atoms are present. So we draw another carbon atom. Always remember it contains ketomethyl group. Okay. So now another carbon atom you have to draw. You cannot draw carbon atom in this side. Then in the final compound you won't get any ketomethyl group. If your compound, if you draw like this, then in the final compound you see you have the ketomethyl portion. So always remember you have to keep the ketomethyl group intact. Okay. So ketomethyl group drawn. Now if we match the molecular formula C3H6O, so yeah, it is right. That is, it is acetone. So acetone undergoes iodoform test. Okay. So when saturated with dilute HCl, it gives B of molecular formula this. So when it is saturated with dilute HCl, that means it has alpha carbon, that is alpha hydrogen present. So aldol condensation, it can undergo aldol condensation. Now aldol condensation can go can be done utilizing base and acids. Okay, so here they are giving acid, so it can undergo aldol condensation. So in aldol condensation what you will get is beta hydroxy ketone. Okay, then beta hydroxy ketone will further dehydrate to give you alpha beta unsaturated ketone. So you will get this product. Now let us match the molecular formula. See here, it is given C9H14, and here the molecular formula is 1 2 3 4 3 4 5. Oh sorry, you will get this product. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 6. Here the molecular formula is C6H 3 3 6 7 8 9 10 H10O. Okay, this is the molecular formula of this one. So it is not matching with the molecular formula of B. That means it can further undergo aldol condensation. Okay, so it will further undergo aldol condensation since it has this alpha hydrogens over here, over left hand side. Okay, so it will further undergo the aldol condensation, and you will get the same product in left hand side also. So now let us look in the molecular formula. So it has 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Okay, C9. Now hydrogen atoms are 3 6 7 8 8 6 14. C9H14 and only one oxygen. Okay, so our answer is this one. This is the product B. Okay, so first you see they are asking about what is A and what is B. So A is this one, that is acetone. Acetone, its IUPAC name is propanone. Okay, so in B, C and D you are getting propanone. And now this one, so you see this one is, if you number like this, 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. Okay, so you see that number carbon 2 contains dimethyl group. Okay, and carbon 6 also contains dimethyl group. So 2,6 dimethyl. Okay, then oh sorry, and this one will be number 7. Okay, long chain carbon, always remember you have to consider the long chain carbon. Now 2,5 diene. Okay, so in carbon 2 there is one olefin present, and in carbon 5 and 6 olefin present. So when a functional group is present, then always remember to give the least priority as possible. So in between 2 and 3, this this olefin is present in between 2 and 3, so you have to give the least priority, that is you will give 2. Similarly in 5 and 6 there is one olefin, so you have to give the least priority, that means you cannot give 6, you have to give 5. Okay, so 2 5. Okay, 2 5 diene is present, and hepta means total number of long chain carbon atom is 7. Okay, and in 4th position there is one ketone, so 2,6 dimethyl 2,5 heptane diene 4 on. Okay, so this is your answer. So our correct option is C. So this came in 2002. Okay, Tamil Nadu C date. Now, so you see over here, this is a phosphorus ylide. Okay, this one came in Manipal 2001 Manipal exams. So this is a phosphorus ylide, that means Vedic salt. So 2 butanon. So let us draw 2 butanon. You have drawn 2 butanon. Okay, so now you just replace oxygen with the substituent. That is only Vedic reaction, right? I have shown you the trick. Just replace oxygen with the substituent. So here CH, okay, CH, then CH2, CH2, CH3. Okay, so your answer is this one. So now you have to name this one. So you have to give the long chain carbon atom, and keep in mind that you have to number the long chain carbon atom in such a way that the olefin will get the least priority. Okay, so this is a symmetrical one, so you can start from either way. So I'm getting 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, so in our this one 5 has a methyl group. Okay, so 5 methyl. Oh, I'm sorry, this is 2 butanon. No, I have drawn pentanon, sorry, my mistake. So 1 2 3 4. Okay, this one is 2 butanon, and now CH2 CH2 CH3. Okay, so if we start numbering, so we have to number in such a way that it contains, the alkene contains the least carbon number. So if you start numbering from here, 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7. Okay, from this side, and if you start numbering from this side, then 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, so in this one, this numbering, this alkene contains the least number. Okay, so this numbering is right, not this numbering. Okay, this numbering, the alkene contains carbon 4, and in this numbering alkene contains number 3. Okay, so this numbering is right, this is not correct. So in this 3 there is one methyl substituent, so 3 methyl, and here this is a heptane molecule in uh, this is a heptane molecule, and carbon 3 contains an alkene, so 3 methyl 3 heptene. Okay, so the right option is number A. So next, this one, the appropriate reagent for the transformation. Okay, so here you see that this carbonyl group is reduced to hydrocarbon, so these two gives us the reduction of carbonyl to hydrocarbon, and this two gives the reduction of carbonyl to alcohols. So these two will be incorrect. C and D is incorrect. So among option A and B we have to now select. So now you see that there is one hydroxy group over here, and in Clemenson reduction, that is with zinc amalgam HCl, we always heat the compound. So if we heat the compound in acidic condition, see here, in Clemenson reduction we use always concentrated HCl. Okay, so in concentrated acid, if we heat it, then it has a chance that it this OH, this hydroxy will be dehydrated. That means there will be a loss of water molecule. Okay, so you can get compound like this, either this, so alkene may form, okay, or this, you don't know from which side alkene will form. Okay, you will get these two compounds, okay, mixture of compound, these two, since since in Clemenson you are using this heat. Okay, so if we use Clemenson reduction, then it reduces this group to hydrocarbon. Also, it will bring about the dehydration of alcohol to form alkene. Okay, so Clemenson reduction, you are getting dehydration of alcohol to alkene. You will get a mixture of alkene. So our option is this, number B. Okay, that is Wolff-Kishner reduction. Now, this one is another interesting one. You see over here, in this compound there is one methyl ester and NO2 group and a ketone. Okay, so if you employ Wolff-Kishner reduction condition, then ketone is reduced to hydrocarbon. Also this methyl ester, okay, is reduced to, sorry, is converted to acid, and NO2 remains intact. Okay, why this methyl ester is converted to acid? Because while workup you are giving, oh, sorry, not workup, you are employing this KOH, okay, this basic condition. So in basic condition these esters gets converted to acids, okay, and give you alcohol, acid plus alcohol. So in Clemenson, oh sorry, in Wolff-Kishner reduction, this keto group is converted to hydrocarbon and this methyl ester is hydrolyzed to acid. And in this Clemenson condition, this keto group is also converted to hydrocarbon. This ester, methyl ester, is converted to acid because we are using acidic condition. In acidic condition, this group also hydrolyzes to acid. So ester group hydrolyzes to acid group in basic and acidic conditions to give you a carboxylic acid and an alcohol. Okay, and also you notice over here that this nitro group is reduced to amine. Okay, so you see over here the basic condition of Wolff-Kishner reduction, Wolff-Kishner and acidic conditions of Clemenson will both cause the methyl ester to hydrolyze. The zinc amalgam in the Clemenson reduction will also reduce the nitro group to amine. Okay, because of this radical reaction, this zinc amalgam will reduce nitro group to amine. Okay, now this one, the product of acidic hydrolysis of P and Q. So the product is P is like this, OCOCH3, this one CH3, and Q is this one, CH3 double bond OCOCH3. So if you hydrolyze, so see this one is ester. Okay, so if you hydrolyze, what you will get, acid and alcohol. So you will get OH. Always remember, you have to break in between oxygen and carbonyl group. Okay, you have to break in between oxygen and carbonyl group. Okay, You have to break this bond, oxygen and carbonyl. So oxygen will get hydrogen and carbonyl will get OH. So you are getting here acetic acid, CH3 COOH. Now this one is ketonyl tautomerization. So you will get a ketone group. Similarly here, if you hydrolyze this one, you have to break in this bond, then you will get here this enol form, and if you tautomerize this one, you will get an aldehyde over here. Okay, see, if I zoom this one, see, okay, this one CH2 double bond OCOCH3, here CH3 CH3, this one double bond OCOCH3. So now you have to distinguish between aldehyde and ketone. So which one is the best reagent? Always pharynx. Okay, so your option is number C. Now aldehydes and ketones can be decolorized by. So you have to look for the property of aldehydes and ketones. So lower members of aldehydes and ketones up to carbon 10 are colorless volatile liquids except formaldehyde, which is a gas at ordinary temperature. So since these are colorless volatile liquids, so you cannot decolorize a compound which is already which does not have any color. Okay, so you cannot decolorize any compound which already which does not contain any color. Okay, which is colorless. So how will you decolorize a colorless compound? So answer will be none of this. So here you see that this is a diol. Okay, that is spinacol. Oh sorry, not this one. Question is this one. Sorry, my mistake. This is the question. On vigorous oxidation of permanganate solution. Okay, see here olefin. Okay, so olefin undergoes oxidation with KMnO4 to give diol like this. Okay, but on vigorous oxidation, then this diol, okay, will coordinate with another magnesium ion. Okay, then what it will undergo? It will undergo oxidative cleavage. That means here you will get two carbonyls. Okay, that means from this compound, okay, if you do vigorous oxidation, then this olefin will break and give you two carbonyls, just like this ozonolysis. Okay, but if there is mild oxidation, then you will get this diol. Okay, this diol you will get. So if I break this one, what I will get here, this portion is acetone and this portion aldehyde. Okay, butanaldehyde. That means what you are getting is, first one is acetone. So this is your acetone and this is butanaldehyde. Okay, oh, one more thing is there on vigorous oxidation. Okay, so vigorous oxidation, so this further this aldehyde will be oxidized to acid. Okay, so you will get this acid. Okay, mild oxidation you will get this diol. If vigorous oxidation, then the aldehyde form will be oxidized to acid. So our option is number D. So in this one it is lacking one carbon group. Okay, see here it is 4 carbon chain, here it is 3 carbon chain, so the answer is wrong. This one should be 4 carbon chain. Okay, now this products via oxymercuration of 1-butene. So you have to do oxymercuration, means So this is butane. So oxymercuration means addition of water through Markovnikov's rule. So you just add one water molecule to Markovnikov's rule, that is, here it will be hydrogen and here it is OH. So it will undergo this tautomerization, ketoenol tautomerization, and what you will get is this one. Okay, that is option A. Okay, so this will add water molecule in Markovnikov's rule, according to Markovnikov's rule, and further ketoenol tautomerization will give you the product. So okay, the key step in Canizaro's reaction is in the molecular intermolecular shift is always the hydrate ion transfer. Okay, so this came in Orissa JEE 2003. Now benzophenone does not react with, see, benzophenone. Okay, benzophenone is a ketone which does not have any alpha hydrogen. Okay, so you see over here RNH2, so it can undergo this addition reaction with amine derivative, this SO3, that means bisulfide addition, since it has carbonyl group it can undergo. Then NaOH reaction, that means it does not contain any alpha hydrogen atom, so it can undergo Cannizzaro reaction. Okay, and lastly Na2CO3. So with Na2CO3 you have no reaction, since this carbonyl group does not react with Na2CO3. Na2CO3 is just used to uh, this Na2CO3 is just used as a weak base. Okay, it is just used to make the solution basic only. Okay, it does not undergo any reaction with carbonyl compound. So our option is number D. Now the most suitable reagent for the conversion of this alcohol to aldehyde. So alcohol to aldehyde, KMnO4 will oxidize to acid. Similarly, potassium dichromate also, and chromium trioxide also. So pyridine chlorochromate, PCC, it is a very mild reagent and it only oxidizes alcohol to acid. So our option is D. It was in AIMS 2004. Now, which of the following does not give iodoform test? So you have to check this isopropyl alcohol. Isopropyl alcohol is this one. Ethanol is this one. Ethanal is this one. Just a minute. Okay, ethanal is this one, and benzyl alcohol. Okay, pH. So which groups does give this iodoform test? Groups which contain ketomethyl group or any secondary alcohol. Okay, so it is secondary alcohol. Okay, so and then ethanol, not secondary alcohol, sorry, these groups. Okay, this group, this alcohol group and any group which can be oxidized to this ketomethyl group. So this alcohol, ethanol, and this any secondary alcohol, this type group. Okay, so these two groups which can be oxidized to this one can give this iodoform test. So among the following we see that benzyl alcohol cannot be oxidized to ketomethyl group. Okay, so benzyl alcohol is the answer. So now a compound only containing hydrogen and oxygen has molecular formula 44. On complete oxidation it is converted to compound 60, molecular formula 60. So 44 and 60, so difference is only 16. Okay, difference is 16, that is molecular weight of oxygen. So we have to look for oxidation. So answer is